Hey, my name is Brennen Bates. I'm with Weathers. We're currently on tour with Badflower, and I'm going to show you some of the gear that I take on tour with me. So this is my bass. It is a Fender Deluxe PJ Special Edition. So it has a neck of a J bass, body of a P bass. Also has both pickups, which makes a pretty good blend. I always like finding, mediums between things, making sure I get a lot of bass and a lot of treble. I love the very heavy sub sound of bass, but I also love the punk very high treble picking noise. It was honestly kind of like a trial and error kind of thing. So the first bass I started playing was an old 80s Kramer, which is a very I don't even know if that brand's around anymore. And then my first bass that I bought was a Fender J bass, and then I went to a Rickenbacker, and they always had it didn't cover quite all the frequencies that I wanted to cover while live. And then I heard about this one, and I love this seafoam green color. It has a very slight pearl gloss behind it, and then it was just a white pickguard, and I ended up changing it all to match my own kind of vibe. I like to customize a lot of stuff. And then I tried it out live, and it was just perfect and I also use flat wound, which is great for that sub, but then when I pick it still gets that high end. So it's just a very nice blend of everything after trying different basses and finding the one that I like. So I actually at least on my knobs, I always have everything up. I have both the passive pickups on, and then I have the tone and volume all the way up, and then everything else is just controlled through my board. I think my go-to is usually the Ernie Ball, and then I go with the heavier gauge. So I go with the low string is going to be a 45, and then the high string is the 105. And I guess it's 1685. For someone who I actually break my strings a lot, which isn't very common for a bass player, but I really hit hard, so I should probably know that. What are these ones though? I can't remember. Now when we tour, not only is it easier for me and for setting up the stage and for sound, but I actually used to use a 8x10 Ampeg with an SVT Classic head, and then I found this. Sorry, I have this tape on here. Anyways, that's an SVT Classic head, but just into a DI box, which has this bass booster, which I also always keep on. I have the ultra low, bass all the way up, treble and mid kind of in the middle, volume in the middle, and then there's a scrambler as well, where I get a lot of the drive and distortion for certain songs. So that's my first DI, which also I come out of the equalizer, which also brings up some of that high end. Usually I try to boost that 1 to 3.2, and then it runs into this Neve. So I actually have two channels, a clean and a dirty, which then gets balanced as well. So it's just kind of everything always ends up taking two turns and then merging into a nice sound to really get it balanced. In ears, I use Ultimate ears. They're pretty nice. I probably need to get some new ones. And it's not because of the company, it's because I think my ears have just changed shape. But while they did fit, they did work pretty well. And I also have the 7 drivers, which is important for a rhythm section player. Because I like to mix my ears to basically sound how it does in the room. I like to have pretty much everything on at a room level except for my bass and vocals. I like to put up just a little bit higher so I can hear more of what I'm doing and making sure I'm not screwing everything up on stage. Wireless, I use the Sennheiser, just like my singer, my guitarist, we all use Sennheiser, while our drummer is hardlined. And then for picks, I use a medium to medium heavy gauge. I don't like it to be too hard. I like to have a lot of mobility while playing, and when it's too flimsy, it's just against the bass strings, it's kind of right through. So medium gauge is definitely my preference for picks. And then for vocal mic, I use a Telefunken. So we're right now on tour with Badflower, as I said earlier. Just released a single, Lonely Vampire. Gonna be putting out some new music hopefully soon. Working on some new stuff all the time, whether it's music, videos, it's always a possibility. We're always trying to kind of come up with some more entertainment for people who can't come to live shows and hear what our gear helps us bring forth live instead of just in the studio.